Good afternoon, everyone. First, and before starting the speech, I want to refer to the illegal kidnapping of Nahuel Gallo in Venezuela. He was arrested by the security forces by the criminal dictator Nicolas Maduro for the only crime of visiting his partner and his son. We demand its immediate release, and we will exhaust all diplomatic routes to return it safe to Argentina. Returning to what summons us here today, I want to greet the Minister of Defense, Luis Petri, to the Chief Lords of the Joint General Staff and of the General States of the Armed Forces, to the members of the National Executive Power, and especially to the new graduates in our three forces, lieutenants, guardiarinas and ensign. Also to all those who have come to accompany them in this unforgettable day. It is an honor for me, as President of the nation and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, participate in this joint graduation ceremony. I will now address the graduates. They have finished the basic training for the service to the country that you chose, and that is why you have my sincere congratulations. Today his life of students culminates and, simultaneously, begins their professional life, in which they will be permanently required. That is, it ends a stage within their training, but another one begins where they will never stop learning and whose teachings will be accompanied by the rest of their lives. In moments they will be delivered from the sabers, which represent the maximum principles and values of our emancipatory heroes. They are the symbol of the command that will accompany them throughout their military career. Also today will take an oath of fidelity to the national constitution, an oath that will compromise them to an entire life of service to the nation. Remember this day well and record in your memory the precepts recorded in the three stained glass windows of this roof: order, value and glory. They are the north for a life at the service of the homeland. If they get into them, I have no doubt that they will make all the Argentines well. We are proud of you. I want to refer now to the historical moment that we are going through as a country, because it loads our actions and commitments of a special meaning. For too long, political caste imposed on all Argentines a miserable reality that, with effort, we have begun to reverse throughout this year. But another of the firing legacies of the caste has been to fracture the relationship between politics and our beloved armed forces. For decades, the same ones that filled their mouths talking about sovereignty were dedicated to discrediting and differentiating our forces, and that made us lose valuable years in the development of our military capacities. But, luckily, they failed to destroy the most valuable of all, which is the persistent affection that society has by the Argentine Armed Forces. We are turning this sad page of the story and we begin to write a new one, where our forces have the respect and recognition they deserve. We are reconciling the armed forces with politics. This has a particular meaning for you, because this new grave of graduates will witness something unpublished in recent decades. Even for your comrades of greater experience and rank, they will have a government that will accompany you and do everything within your reach to hierarchize the three forces, honoring the legacy that Roca and San Martin left us. But that will also require them as never before, because the challenges that our homeland is going through require us to be prepared and demand that each one, from their place, perform with courage, decision and responsibility. Not for nothing we are here today, where the Battle of Caseros took place 172 years ago. At that time, comrades of weapons like you had to live up to a historic call and prevail against Rosista tyranny. May your memory be part of an example, a model to follow that motivates you to do your best in your service to the country. Therefore, we want to tell you, estimated officials who graduate today, the nation has you. You can count on the nation. Finally, I want to make a special mention to the men and women of our armed forces who contributed to the formation of our new officers. About them, the heavy responsibility of educating this new litter fell to the heavy responsibility. I hope the graduates make them proud. I also want to especially thank the relatives of our officers for their accompaniment and permanent support. Without further ado, I wish you to have a Merry Christmas and to plan big for next year. May God bless each of you and all Argentines and forces of heaven to accompany us. Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone and live the homeland.